Black Mountains of Nevada loom over the desert community of Henderson, situated on the east slopes of the valley. That dark mountain is the home of many television towers and other towers on the top. It is the home of mines, caves that pock the side of the Black Mountain. This is the story, a quite disturbing story, which took place around 1977. Every kid in the town knew the rules. Do not climb, do not play on that mountain. All parents understood of the constant danger of the deep open mines and caves, but danger lures the younger set, and several deaths occurred on the slopes of Black Mountain. Cherry's 13-year-old son Mark and his friend Harry decided to explore a cave and carry a rock or two. Mark and Harry located a cave. They had to squirm into the narrow opening and belly crawl through the cave into the larger room and turned on their small pocket flashlights. They saw a circular room roughly 9 feet across. They found several large branches that someone had dragged about a mile from the closest tree and tossed the branches into the hole, creating a makeshift ladder to climb down into the lower pit. It was then that the boys heard the sounds of a voice, maybe the distant humming of machines. Intrigued by the thought, they were mining nearby. The boys went deeper into the tunnel. On the far end, they found a metal door, and near the door, a strange metal rod. The 1-foot rod was lightweight and resembled aluminium, with a cap on one end and a few strange engravings on the side. Mark put the rod into his jeans pocket, focused the beam of his flashlight on the door, and tried the doorknob. He discovered a strong bolt secured the door from the reverse side. Harry shook the doorknob and pounded on it a few times. Startled, the boys heard the sound of guttural, harsh voices talking and the sound of approaching footsteps. They suddenly felt a wave of fear, knowing they were inside a forbidden cave, weaponless, and an angry, animalistic, growling voice attempted to open the door any second. As the boys scrambled out of the cave at great speed, they heard the metal door clank and squeak loudly as the door opened, but they were already off. Without a warning, they heard a loud, threatening growl. Harry and Mark looked back at the cave entrance, and to their horrified eyes they watched as a large, greenish humanoid struggled to force his big body out of a narrow cave. To their shock and fear, the humanoid was trotting towards them. They started screaming, again put on a burst of speed, and ran into the house. Mark locked the door, screaming, "Mum, Mum, help us, Mum, he's going to get us." Mark begged his mum to not open the door. "He's not going to get us. Boys, you go get a drink of water, let me talk to the man." But they tightened their grip on Cherry, their mother screaming, "No, no, that guy will kill you. He's not a man. Don't go out there, Mum." "Now what do you mean he's not a man? Is it a woman that is threatening you?" "No, it's a man. Sort of looks like a man, but his face looks like a snake, or like a lizard man. He's ugly, and he doesn't wear anything. He's naked except for a wide belt with stuff on it." Cherry thought it was perhaps someone in a costume. It was at this point she noticed that Mark was holding a strange metal rod. It had bizarre symbols engraved in a 3-inch section on the rod. It was just symbols from spirals of circles of different sizes, a few triangles, and a few unknown symbols. It must have been about 2 in the morning when Mark shook Cherry, whispering harshly that someone was trying to get into his bedroom window. In the light of the moon, Cherry could make out the silhouette, head and shoulders of a man. There was a glare from the flashlight on the window, but past glare she could see clearly a large head with ridges on the top, other ridges on his cheekbones, and the glow of golden eyes. Her and Mark stood still, frozen, fear and shock. The lizard man didn't move either, his hands poised in his attempt to pry the window open. His hand was large, webbed, rough, gnarly-looking fingers with powerful claws. After a while, the creature left. The next day, Mark and Cherry hiked back to the cave and placed the strange rod beside the cave entrance. The lizard man never again attempted to enter the house, and for that Cherry was relieved. After a few days, Cherry went outside and looked at the window. It was then that she found the bottom edge of the window is close to 6 feet off the ground. It was a shock to realize the lizard man must have been very tall, over 7 feet tall. In the swampland of South Carolina, a young man, Christopher Davis, had an encounter with a reptilian. The creature attacked his car, and these are some of the genuine photographs of the damage done to his car. Some time later, the sheriff did an expedition into the swamp and found very strange biped footprints. Well, I hope that I've not unsettled your nerves over the last few segments, but it's important to hear and understand these testimonies, especially when put into context of the reptilian history of this planet. We have learnt that reptilians do indeed live underground. behind so-called metal doors. Their underground labyrinth could well be connected to the secret underground bases of the US military. Lacerta warned against entering caves and confronting underground metal doors. The reptilian was over 7 foot tall and prepared to confront humans to retrieve his metal rod. In South Carolina, we have evidence of a reptilian scare tactic against a human's vehicle to ward him off. Luckily, nobody got hurt, but then maybe there was no intention.